been playing with netting and making some little 3D type pillow-shaped little cubes I thought were kind of fun and pretty, and I thought I'd show you how to make them. I am working on the crystal lace necklace to match the bracelet I made last week. However, I stopped and started playing with these a little bit, and I think they turned out really cute. This is the same design, however, I have used pearls in the middle instead of bicones, and bicones on the outside instead of rounds. So I just changed the order of the beads, and you can do that however you want with these little setups. As long as you stay with the same size of beads, you can change the shapes of them and come up with all kinds of different looking little cubes. I made an earring out of this one, which is going from the top and doing a few layers of right angle weave, just a couple little units of right angle weave, and then going around my ear wire. This one I used some really short little tubular beads, kind of like little bugle beads, little short ones, and made a earring out of that. Now, I also made some in different colors. I used purple and cream pearls on this and some pinkish and bronze seed beads, and that's how that one looks. And then I made this one, which I am designing a necklace out of here. So I can show you how to make this necklace. I haven't finished my design completely, but that's how I did this one, and I just used the same as I did with the one I'm going to show you today. I just used different colors. So you can do all kinds of stuff. Oh, here is one. The original one I designed is this one, and I used 6mm round fire polish beads on the outside, and then 4mm round pearls. I used some 8/0s in here, but you can just use 8/0s, 11/0s. You can do 15/0s, however you want. You just have to make sure that as you're doing the pattern, you put enough of whatever size bead you use, seed bead, to be able to cross over to the next bead, and you'll understand that more when you see the video. This one I made with all 6mm fire polish beads on the outside and on the inside, and then just little 4mm in the corners, and I think it turned out pretty too. So this is very versatile. You can do it so many different ways. And here is the set we're going to make today. They're really pretty. It was hard for me to get a good picture of these, but now you can see them on video. You can see they're really quite pretty. So that's what we're going to do. This is the one I'm going to show you, and then I will try to work on a design for the necklace if you want to see that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so for this project, your material list can vary some. I'm going to be using 6mm round. However, to make this shape. However, if you want it to be all crystal like this one, you can use 6mm bicones instead of 6mm rounds. You can also exchange your 4mm bicones with a 4mm round. It doesn't matter. You can mix and match them any way you want, as long as you use a 6mm for the outside, regardless if it's round or bicone, and you use a 4mm on the inside of the particular pattern, regardless if it's round or bicone. So what I'm using is 6mm round drukes, and this is Apollo Gold. These are check glass beads. Then I am going to use a 4mm bicone, and I am not sure. I think this is probably a blue topaz color. Not positive. But it is a Swarovski, and it's a 4mm bicone zillion. And then I am going to be using 2 colors of 11/0 seed beads. Both are Toho. This one is a Toho Antique Bronze, and this one is an opaque turquoise amethyst. And they are both 11/0s, like I said. And then I'm going to use a couple of very small tubular type beads. If you do not have these little tubular beads, you can, of course, just do a couple of units of right angle weave to end it. You do not have to put on the ending like this one. Or you can use, instead of using, these are, I believe these are 4 by 5 millimeters, so they're 4 in diameter, 5 millimeters long, and this is a 12 millimeter bugle bead, and you can use that. Just use one of them instead of using 2 of the short ones. You just won't have the crystal in the middle. Of course, you could put a crystal on the top if you'd like. However, so that you can change out beads so you're not stuck not being able to make whatever you'd like. This is what it looks like with the 4 rounds in the middle and the bicones on the outside. This is what it looks like with the 4 rounds on the outside and the bicones in the middle. So either way, it really turns out pretty. This is what it looks like if you use all bicones, 6 millimeter and 4 millimeter. Either way. So let's go ahead and start on this one here, since those are the beads I have out. Okay, so thread onto your needle a length of thread that measures 1 entire arm and a half. So put 1 arm out to the side of your body, measure from your fingertips to the middle of your chest, and put that on your needle. That should be plenty enough thread. I'm using 10-pound nanofil. You can use 8-pound Fireline also. You don't really want to go a lot smaller than those 2, simply because of the fact that this particular little cube needs a lot of tension on it, and you don't want to break your thread. You want a heavier thread. So we're going to pick up a combination of beads. We're going to pick up 1 6 millimeter round, or if you're using a bicone, just pick up your biggest bead first, your 6 millimeter bicone or your 6 millimeter round. Then pick up 2 11-0 seed beads in the gold color and 1 in the blue, or whatever your accent color is. Pick up 2 of your main and 1 of your accent. Of course, you probably won't be using the same colors, so just arrange it like so. And then pick up another 6 millimeter round, push it down, pick up 2 of your main color, 1 of your accent color, and 2 of your main color of your 11-0 seed beads, and then pick up another 6 millimeter round and push them down. Pick up 2 of your main color, 1 of your accent color, and 2 of your main color 11-0 seed beads, and another 6 millimeter round. And then we will do 1 more series of 2 11-0s in the main, 1 in the accent, 2 in the main color, and drop it down. Now, what you should have on your thread are 4 of your 6 millimeter beads with a series of 5 beads in between them. Start with your large bead and end with your series of 5 11-0s. Then you will bring this down to the end of your thread. You don't have to leave a long tail, but enough to hold on to and not slip through the beads. You're going to sew back through all of these beads from the tail side, so just crisscross your thread, bring your working thread into the first bead you put on from the tail side, and slide through the 11-0s until you get to the second larger bead. Hold on to the beads, hold on to your tail, and pull your thread through until you have a nice big circle like this. Then sew back through all of your beads. Careful not to miss any, because if you do, they will not lay correctly and you'll have to start over. And keep going until you get past where your tail and your working thread meet. Go past it into the next bead. Now you can adjust how much thread is sticking out at the end here. Make sure you leave enough, because it's still going to slip around on here for a while. Leave enough to where it's not going to slip through if you pull on it accidentally. And then go ahead and sew through to the next bead just to set it a little bit better. We're not going to tie a knot because we don't want to block any of our beads. So we're just going to sew over until we get into the next large bead, like so. Now we are going to pick up a 4mm bicone. I've got a mess here already. Okay, so I'm going to pick up a 4mm bicone. I'm coming out of this large 6mm. I'm going to go into the next 6mm bead on my circle. And just through that bead, avoiding all the 11 O's on either side of it. Let's get in just a little bit closer and pull this down. And as you can see, that forms a corner. Then we're going to pick up another bicone crystal, go into the next bead, and pull it down. Then we're going to pick up another bicone crystal, go into the next bead, here. And pull it down. And then again, one more, and go into the next bead. Now, as you come through your next 6mm round, you can go through your next bicone bead also. Set your thread a little better. If it twists, just untwist it until you can get it to lay appropriately into the corner. And now you have created a square, just like so. Now we're going to go through the round bead and the next bicone, just to set the thread a little bit better before we do our next step. So now we're coming out of this bicone crystal. We're going to pick up 2 gold beads and 1 11 in the accent color. Back off so you can see. 2 gold. And this is what you should have. 2 of your main color, 1 of your accent, and 2 of your main. 5 in total. You're going to go from this bicone crystal you're coming out of into the next bicone crystal. And pull. Now you're going to pick up 2 of your gold, 1 of the blue, 2 of the gold, just like we did previously, 5 11 O's. And it doesn't have to be 2 colors, it just makes it easier to see where you're going as you're making your unit. Then you're going to go from this bicone crystal over to the next bicone in the corner. And pull. Then you're going to go ahead and do that one more time. Pick up 2 of the gold, 1 of the blue, 2 of the gold, and then let's get closer just so you can see a little better. Let's go from this bicone into this bicone, right here. And pull. And the same thing again, 2 11 O's in the gold, 1 in the blue, 2 in the gold. And then go into the next bicone crystal. Just jump over that 6mm bead, go into the bicone crystal, and come through. Now, this is what you should have. We are going to sew up, we're coming out of this bicone, we're going to sew up into the first 3 11 O's on this little strand of netting here. So right up, and then exit the middle bead, which is my blue bead. And pull. Now, we are going to pick up a 4mm bicone crystal. We are coming out of this 11 O in the center. We're going to go to the next 11 O. And just go through it and pull the bicone crystal into the center here. And as I said before, these can be 4mm rounds too. You can put pearls here and you'll get this look. And this is also with the 6mm bicones on the outside. So you can just switch your beads around and get a little bit different look. Now we're going from this 11-0 to this 11-0 here. And then again here. And then again here. And I'm going to go into the bicone and the next 11-0 also, just to set the thread here. And pull this. Now, this is what you should have. Let's sew all the way around these middle beads to firm them up and secure them. So we're just going to go into each 11-0 and each 4mm bicone in the center here. One more time, pulling them nice and tight and giving them a little bit more shape and form. Now we're going to sew, now that I've gone all the way around, I'm going to go sew through this 11-0 and these two 11-0s here. And then I'm going to sew into this bicone crystal right here. And then I will sew through the bicone and into the 6mm round bead, if I can. There we go. And I'm going to try to exit to the back of my piece. So I'm going to just push through until I exit the back. It wants to come out the front. The back. So I've turned it over and I'm exiting the 6mm on the back of it. And then pull really tight. Make sure everything is very secure. Looks very good. That's the front of your piece. We are now going to be working on the back. So we're going to take our tail and just cut it down a little bit. And then you can melt the tail in. Just make sure you don't block your beads with it. Just kind of melt it in. And we can push it aside later to make sure that you don't see it. But just for now, we just want it out of the way. And then we are going to work on the back side, and of course we're going to make it 3D. It's the same on both sides. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up, we're coming out a 6mm round, we're going to pick up a 4mm bicone, and this is where it gets a little tricky because it doesn't want to sit in here beautifully as you do this. So you have to work these in, and you have to do it carefully because you don't want to break your thread. These are crystals. So when you're doing this, especially if you're using a round here, you're going to go through your next 6mm round and just your next 6mm round. Pick up your 4mm, whether it be a round or a bicone, doesn't matter, but pull it in between the beads. Then push it down to where you're pushing the bead on the other side out a little bit. Put your thumb on top and give it a little tug. And you can work it in there. And it's not going to work in there perfectly, but as we come back around, we'll work it a little better. But just get it in there the best you can. As you pull your thread straight through the beads and make sure that you're not pulling it on the side, especially if these bigger beads in yours are bicones. You do not want to pull your thread on the edge of a bicone, you'll break it. Now, we're coming out of this 6mm, we're going to go into the next 6mm after picking up a 4mm bicone. So I've got a 4mm bicone on here, and I'm going to pull this down, and as I pull this down, I'm going to work this bead into the corner. And see, as I did that, I worked this one a little bit better. You still can see a little thread over here, but as we sew back around, we'll work that guy in there a little bit better. Just make sure you're pulling them in there very nice and tightly and neatly, or your cube is just going to be a big mess. Now, go into the next 6mm, pick up a 4mm bicone, go from 6mm to 6mm. As you pull, you're going to work your bead down in between, like so. And then you're going to pick up another 4mm bicone, go into the next 6mm round. Try to come back out towards the back here and work your bead in. Now, you can see I have them all worked in there pretty good, but they're still kind of funky. So I'm going to sew around all of these beads one more time, just to give this a lot more security, form, and to ensure that my thread isn't going to break, because these are crystals and we're pulling on it tight. So I'm going to go through one more time. As I go through each one, I'll push each crystal down and pull my thread forward, working my crystal down into the corner. As you come through, make sure you don't pick up any of the 11 O's, and you're going to want to. It's going to happen. Just keep pushing them out of the way until you can come back through. Straighten your crystal out each time you go into the next bead. So now I'm going into this crystal. I'm going to straighten it out and pull. I'm going to go into the 6mm bicone or round and pull, and then I'm going to go into this one. I'm going to push it down and pull, and then go into the next one. I hope I was in frame. Let's go out a little bit. So I'm just basically sewing around and ensuring that I keep everything nice and tight and pushing those down into the corners like so. Now I have a nice little domed square. So now I'm going to go into, I'm coming out of my 6mm round, I'm going to go into the bicone, pull, make sure I stay nice and tight, and I'm going to pick up 2 gold, 1 blue, and 2 gold 11 O's, and I'm just going to repeat what I did earlier. I'm going to skip over the 6mm round, go into my next bicone crystal, and push that towards the center, like so. Then I'm going to pick up 2 gold, 1 blue, 2 gold, and go into the next bead. Skipping over the 6mm round, going right into the next bicone. And again, 2, 1, 2, into the next. And one more time, 2, 1, 2. Push these beads out of my way. I'm going to go from this bicone to this bicone, and as I go through the next bicone, I will also go through the next 2 11 O's, or actually 3 11 O's, exiting the accent color bead in the middle there. This is what you should have. It looks kind of like a little crown or something. Now we are going to pick up a 4mm bicone crystal, and we're going to go from this 11 O to the next 11 O in the direction our thread is coming out, and pull the little peaks together with our bicone crystals. And then go into the next one. Jeez, come here. Okay, and pull, drawing everything towards the center of your piece. And then the next one, of course. Let's get a little closer. From this 11 O to this 11 O, same thing we did on the other side, and pull them together. And then one more. Pick up, if you're coming out of this 11 O, go into the next 11 O, picking up your crystal and pulling it into place. Now we need to sew all these crystals together, including the 11 O's that we're attaching to, so we're going to sew all the way around all those beads again. So I'm coming out this blue 11 O, and I'm just going to sew into all the blue 11 O's and all the bicone crystals in the center here, pulling them nice and tight, giving them really good form and strength. All the way around. I'm going to go up into the next one here, and I'm going to go through the 11 O and the 2 11 O's behind it on the diagonal here. I am then going to go into this Bicone crystal that these 11 O's are attached to. Then, then I'm going to go into the 6mm bead here. So I'm in this Bicone, I'm going to go into the 6mm bead and the 11 O's behind it. So all 3 11 O's until I'm exiting this corner blue bead here. And pull. And now you have your pillow. It is done. Looks really pretty. And now we are going to make a connection for our ear wire. So get your ear wire out. Now if you're going to use 1 bugle bead, that's fine. Grab your 1 bugle bead and do it exactly the same way I'm going to do my 2. However, put your crystal on top and then make your loop of beads through your ear wire. If you want to do it in right angle weave, right now you'll just pick up 3 of your 11 O seed beads and you will go into the opposite side, pull them down, sew around them, go up to the top bead, make another unit, sew around them, and then pick up a couple of beads on either side of your last unit and hook the ear wire on, and that will make more sense in a second. But all you have to do is make a couple units of right angle weave, like this one, and in your last unit, right here, I came up through my top bead in my last unit of right angle weave. I picked up 2 11 O's, went through my ear wire, and then picked up 2 11 O's, went through my bead, sewed around it a couple of times, sewed down into each unit of right angle weave, and then back down into my bead and tied off. Back down into my piece. So you can do that. You can do, take this out. I'm going to take this out now. That was just to show you. This is how I'm going to do it to match this one. So I'm going to get one of my 4x5 little bugles here, or little tube bead, or you can use your large bugle bead, doesn't matter, the taller one. These are a little wider, so they're going to be centered better on here. And I'm going to bring 1 down. Then I'm going to pick up my crystal, 4mm. Then I'm going to pick up another tube bead. Now if you're just doing 1 bugle bead, just pick it up and then you can pick up your crystal at the end here if you'd like. Then if you have your crystal on the end, you're going to do the exact same thing I'm going to do. It's just that you're going to end up with your beads in this next step on top of your crystal instead of on top of the bugle beads. So now I've got my 2 bugle beads. I'm going to pick up 3 11 O seed beads. Now I'm going to do 1 gold. Oh, actually I did them all in blue. I did them all in blue on this one, so I'm going to have to pick up blue so that it matches. So I'm going to pick up, actually, no I didn't. Don't listen to me. Pick up 3 gold. I see what I did. And I'm going to drop them here. And then I'm going to go back down into both of the, or all 3 of these beads, the two beads and the crystal. And I'm going to pull my needle through, and that will draw my seed beads into a little picot on top, and that's what you want on top of your crystal if you're using a regular bugle bead. Now I started this all on this side, so now I'm going to come through this side of the bead. So on the opposite side of the bead I started attaching to, I will go back in, so that will balance everything out and pull it down on top of this bead, just like so. Now it's going to take a couple times to sew through this to make it nice and neat. So we're going to sew back up through all the beads. I'm coming through this 11 O on top here. Then I'm going to go through this 11 O by itself just to retain the shape I want. And then I'm going to go down into the side bead, the bugle bead, the crystal, and the bottom bugle. Then I'm going to go into the opposite side of the bead I started in, here. Now I've got that pulled all nice and neat. See how pretty that lays? I'm going to sew back up to the top so I can put my ear wire on. So I'm going to go back into all of these beads. Then I'll go into this side 11-0 here, into the top 11-0 here. Then, to match my other one, I'm going to pick up 2 11-0 seed beads and my ear wire. So, let me back up so you can see me. So I've got 2 11-0 seed beads. I'm going to drop them down. I'm going to go through my ear wire. Make sure your ear wire is closed here, that it's not open, or your string will fall through there. Pick up 2 more of your 11-0 seed beads. I'm using my blue, and come back through the bead you're attaching to. So we're coming out on this side. We're going to go through this side. Get you close, right here. Pull. Now, this pulls this all into like a little circle. See? So we're going to sew through this circle again to secure this. So I'm coming out of this side. I'm going to go up into the 11-0s on that side. Then I'm going to sew through the ear wire and the 2 11-0s on the opposite side and back through the 11-0 here. Now you can do that a couple more times if you would like to. That's fine. I feel like that's pretty secure. So, well, maybe I'll just do it one more time just to make sure. Because, you know, you never know. So I'm going to go up through these 2 beads again, back down into my wire, into these 2 on this side, back into the 11-0 I'm anchoring to, down into a side 11-0, and then into the tube, and into the crystal, into the bottom tube, and out, which is kind of hard to do. There we go. Pull this all through. Try not to get your ear wire. Okay, pull through. Now, that's what you should have. I'm going to go back through this bead here. I'm going to sew down into the 11-0s on this side and the 6mm round and the 11-0s behind it, if I can get through them. No, I can't. Okay, yep, I got through 2 of them. And then I'm going to go up through this corner one. Now I'll go down through these 2 here. And the 6mm here. And I'm going to readjust my thread a little bit and tie a knot right here. So I'm just going to go underneath these 11-0s and try to get on the thread bridge between the 6mm round and my first 11-0 there. Pull my thread over and pull a knot down, and then I'm just going to go through a couple more beads here, puff my piece back up because I'm squishing the heck out of it while I'm doing that, and then I'm going to cut the thread off. I really need to get some new scissors, and roll these down and tuck them in, or that down and tuck it in. Not how it suddenly became plural, but it did. And this is your set of cute little earrings. I'll back off so you can see them better. Get all this stuff off my mat. I made a mess. And this is what this looks like. I think they turned out really cute. And like I said, it's designing a necklace. Let me know if you'd like to see me finish this and put it online too. I mean, it's pretty simple to figure out on your own, but I am going to continue. I think it would make a cute little necklace. So anyway, that's what those look like. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. See you later. Bye-bye.